Alright, archetype analysis once again. Yeah, today we're looking at what, in my opinion, should have stayed an anime-only archetype because it's absolutely pointless for having it here, consisting of 9 cards, and yeah, it's the so-called fairy tale archetype used by Leon von Schroeder and in the original Duel Monsters anime. Now keep in mind, the archetype we're looking at is a fairy tale, not to be confused with this masterpiece or a certain other 4-card pack filler archetype that shares the same name as that anime. So with the confusion out of the way, let's start off with their first monster, PRINZESSIN. I know, that's a beautiful name. It's a level 4 light fairy with 300 attack and 600 defense. And if this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon one pumpkin carriage from your hand or deck. Then, if Golden Castle of Stromberg is in a field zone, you can equip one glass slippers from your deck to this card. You can only use this effect of PRINZESSIN once per turn. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, you can target one glass slippers equipped to this card and one face-up monster on the field, equip the glass slippers to that target. So yeah, this is a gimmick this is the gimmick, one of the many gimmicks this archetype has, with no cohesive strategy or win condition. They all revolve around the mentioned Golden Castle of Stromberg. We'll get to that. But anyway, here's Pumpkin Carriage, which would have been the first monster I would originally look at due to it being the lowest level in the archetype. But I needed to elaborate on PRINZESSIN first. It's a level 3 with 0 attack and 300 defense, and Princess, it's a plant type monster for whatever reason. And PRINZESSIN you control can attack directly, and your opponent cannot target Golden Castle of Stromberg with card effects. Also, it cannot be destroyed by card effects. Yeah, and as opposed to the anime just giving direct attack option to your PRINZESSIN, this actually gives Golden Castle of Stromberg a very strong sense of protection, which pretty much outclasses Field Barrier if you ever ran that card. So, I mean, it can be used in if you're building a fairy tale deck for some reason, you can go wrong with at least 2 of these. So, just my standards are lowered by this archetype exponentially, so this one is average. Alright, next up we have Iron Hans, a level 4 warrior, and if this card is summoned in any way, you can special summon one Iron Knight from your deck. Also, if Golden Castle of Stromberg is not in the field zone when this effect resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn. You can only use this effect of Iron Hans once per turn. Gains 1000 attack for each Iron Knight you control while Golden Castle of Stromberg is in the field zone. So yeah, if you do not control their dreaded field spell, you cannot do some extra deck shenanigans. But yeah, Iron Hans and Iron Knight combo is the closest thing that they have to field swarming, so they can go into some link monsters, rank 4s maybe. So yeah, what does the Iron Knight do? Loses 1000 attack while you control Iron Hans. If this card on the field is destroyed by a battle and sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add one Iron Hans from your deck to your hand. Or if Golden Castle of Stromberg is in the field, well, you can add one warrior monster from your deck to your hand instead. You only use this effect of Iron Knight once per turn. Basically, you can see that this is a special summonable, easy searchable, special summonable search fodder when it gets destroyed because it loses attack for some reason when Iron Hans is on the field. And if Golden Castle of Stromberg is on the field when it bites the dust, you can search out any warrior monster, which is weird because you can literally search any of them, like Don Zalug, Phantom Knights maybe if you play them. So yeah, it's certainly amazing. Even Dark Scorpions. Yeah, and the fact that the matter is that they're earth monsters for some reason. If they wanted to, if Iron Hunts and Iron Knight wanted to be more playable, they should have been Dark Monsters, because Dark Warriors is one of the best combinations of type and attribute in the game. But anyway, Iron Hunts and Iron Knight are usually run at 3 in any, if they are ran at all in any build. So yeah. Anyway, their next monster is GLIFE, the Phantom Bird. And you can discard this card to add 1 Golden Castle of Stromberg from your deck to your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target 1 card in your opponent's spell and trap zone, destroy it. You can only use this effect of GLIFE, the Phantom Bird, once per turn. Field Searchers, but this one isn't impressive in the slightest, because Field Searchers that usually are the best usually have a very high attack values. So if this guy had like 1900 attack, along with the same effect, then this will be a miles better card, because not only it pops back row and special or normal summon, but it also searches out the field spell, which is kind of needed in this archetype. But yeah, if you run this, you usually don't run it at more than 1. And our last monster is the level 8 tribute monster, HEXE TRUDE, a dark spellcaster with 2600 attack and 2100 defense. And if Golden Castle of Stromberg is in the field zone, you can normal summon this card without tributing once per turn. If Golden Castle of Stromberg is in the field zone, you can target 1 card on the field except this one, destroy it. And if you do, this card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during battle phase this turn. When this card destroys a monster by battle, you can target 1 face-up monster you control, it gains 400 attack. So in terms of a boss monster, this is actually pretty good. It can pop any card on the once per turn, as long as the field spell is in play. And whenever it destroys a monster, you can boost any other monster, except even this card, to gain 400 attack, turning her into an immensely powerful beat stick. But yeah, she's susceptible to any kinds of removal, such as kaijus. Any effect removal that any monsters with effect removal or effect negation can get over this very super fast. Crystal Wing, for example. So yeah, passable, decently passable for a boss monster. Now for their dreaded field spell, here it is, Golden Castle of Stromberg. Once per turn, during your standby phase, you must banish 10 cards from the top of your deck face down. This is not optional. Or this card is destroyed. Once per during your main phase, you can special summon 1 monster from your deck that specifically lists the Golden Castle of Stromberg in its text. You cannot normal summon or set during the turn you activate this effect, even if this card leaves the field. You can only use the effect of Golden Castle of Stromberg once per turn. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, destroy the attacking monster. And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the attack of the monster that you had on the field. Overall, a very, very good field spell. Very questionable to consider running due to its amazing cost to be paid in order to keep it on the field. Banishing 10 cards from the top of your deck face down is a very, very risky choice to have. Basically, this card can only last like 5 turns at best if you're playing a 60 card deck. So yeah, this is a very, very weird effect to have, along with a very weird cost to have. And yeah, not to mention that if you top it with pot of what is it called, damn it? Desires. Yeah, if you top it with Pot of Desires, it's basically a suicide recipe. So I don't know. This entire archetype is very weird. So let's just move on. Now we have the glass slippers that we mentioned earlier when we talked about Princessin. If this card is equipped to a fairy monster, it gains 1000 attack. If this card is equipped to a non-fairy monster, it cannot attack. Also, it loses 1000 attack. If this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster is destroyed, you can target 1 Princessin you control, equip this card to that target. You can only use this effect of glass slippers once per turn. So yeah, if you're wondering what Princessin's re-equipping effect was all about, it was about knocking down monsters by 1000 attack and making them unable to attack, even though that is pretty much a death sentence against decks focusing around Archlord, Christia, and another bunch. Even Time Lords, yeah, since they're all fairies, Time Lords even cannot be affected by this thing, so yeah, very gimmicky card in my opinion. And their last card is their continuous spell, Iron Cage. When this card is activated, send one monster you control to the graveyard, or if Golden Castle of Stromberg is in the field button, you can send one monster your opponent controls to the graveyard instead. Once per turn, during your standby phase, you can target the monster that was sent to the graveyard by this card's effect, destroy this card, and if you do, special summon that monster up to your field. You can activate one Iron Cage per turn. Huh. This is interesting, and it's actually pretty good. It's a non-destruction, non-targeting removal effect, which works on, I mean, it can save your monster if you don't want it to be destroyed in the next turn, but more importantly, you can actually steal an opponent's monster by this effect, which is pretty damn nice. However, there's always a risk of getting destroyed before you are able to do anything with it, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't run it at all. And we're done with the fairy tale, folks. Oh god, this is not going to be pretty. Consistency, none to speak of, literally. Iron Hans and Iron Knight ain't enough to do anything by themselves, and they only support themselves in the slightest. Glyphe searches Golden Castle of Stromberg, since terraforming is limited, semi-limited, I mean, it can be useful, but other field searchers it pales in comparisons when compared to other better field searchers. Power entirely depends on HEXE, TRUDE, and her boosting effect, which is not really impressive. Both consistency and power get a 1 out of 3. Comeback ability, none to speak of. Soul Charge is banned. Iron Hans and Iron Knight aren't enough by themselves. Single rank 4 ain't gonna turn any significant ties around unless it's the banned Rango Miniad. 1 out of 3. Protection, none to speak of. The biggest 1 out of 3 I have ever put into these. I mean, Golden Castle protects itself, but the cost is so obnoxiously specific and hard that it's, I mean, not worth running in the long run. Not worth building a deck around, unless it's around Necroface. And then versatility. Look, if protection is so miserably horrible, then versatility is even worse. 1 out of 3. Complete trash. So yeah, Iron Cage is like the best card to come out of this bunch. Even Golden Castle, if you somehow manage to circumvent paying the cost all the freaking time. But yeah, this archetype should have stayed an anime exclusive. Not even all cards from that archetype were adapted, and Glyphe the Phantom Bird was totally made up. So yeah, it's very, very disappointing to say the least. But anyway, we have 3 other archetypes to review on this break. So yeah, if you're curious what they'll be, you'll just have to wait and see. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos and updates. Comment, like, and subscribe. And as usual, I'll upload the next vid whenever I can. See you all, have a good day, and peace.